So what was it like for you? I mean, I want to ask you about like kind of your upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
You grew up in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And then so first of all, what was growing up in the Philippines like for you?
It was very different because I grew up in the farm
Mm-hmm.
and I took care of like farm animals, goats, sheep, cows. We had plenty and chickens. I also grew up with like a lot of dogs and cats.
Oh, really?
Wow.
There's like over 20.
So was that like, was that what your parents did for work? Is they like farmers?
No, I think my stepdad just loved animals.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so he bought like a huge land and decided to build a house in the middle of that land and decided to just start
Wow.
getting farm animals.
How long did you live in the Philippines before you left?
I left when I was like 14, going on
Oh, wow,
my 15th
okay.
birthday. Yeah, so I was still in my teenage years.
So you live with your stepdad, you said,
Mm-hmm.
and your mom?
Yeah. So I was adopted when I was 3.
Mm.
Before I was adopted, I was actually living with my grandma, and it was like in the slums. Like we were very poor.
Mm.
So yeah.
So you grew up kind of in a poor, especially poor place
Yeah.
in the Philippines with your grandma.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever know your biological parents?
No. And I feel like I'm scared to know, and I don't want to know because I feel like meeting them would be just really awkward.
Mm. Do you?
I always wonder about that. Some people, I guess, choose to like go and look for their biological parents, but yeah, it seems like I don't know if I would want to do that.
Yes, I'm sure the emotion is so complicated.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't empathize, but I'm sure that. Do you think about them ever, or is that something that's kind of you don't even think about on a day-to-day basis? Like,
Yeah, I don't really think about it. Yeah, because I was really young. I don't even remember if I saw them or yeah.
so, do you remember like your grandma? Do you talk to your grandma still back in the Philippines?
She actually passed away
Oh, I'm sorry.
last year. So, but yeah, I used to talk to her. Super sweet.
So you live with your grandma, and then you were adopted.
Mm-hmm.
You live with this family on the farm, and you lived there till you were 13. And
14.
Or 14?
Yeah.
Tell me about I'm just curious. You worked on a farm. Like, what was your daily schedule?
It was very hard actually because I have to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning.
4 a.m.?
Yeah.
I do. Oh, my
Actually, 4 a.m. would be late. Sometimes I have to wake up at 3 if I want to get to school in time because in the Philippines, school starts at like 6:30.
Oh my
Wow.
God.
Yeah. So I have to be able to finish all the chores. So I'd be sweeping the yard, like picking up dog shit.
tons of dog shit.
Yeah, I'd be cleaning up the cat house because we had a cat house. And I'd be sweeping goat poop in the goat pen. And
Just a lot of cleaning up shit.
yeah, and I have to clean up real good because if I don't, then my stepdad would get mad at me and he'd be like, "Oh, you're not eating breakfast if you don't get this done."
Wow.
So yeah,
That sounds like I think bordering on abusive.
yeah. I didn't actually realize that until I got to the States that I was going through that. To me, it was normal, and yeah, it was.
So you would wake up at 3 a.m., clean a bunch of shit, and then like, how would your stepdad decide if you did a good job or not?
He usually just checks the yard and
You just see if there's
he
shit.
sees like a poop in the ground.
You don't
I'm
eat
like,
breakfast.
Yeah, sometimes I don't eat breakfast. Sometimes he just like slap me or I don't know.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And your stepmom, was she like protective of you, or was she also?
She wasn't really like abusive, but she was. I felt like she could have, said something about it. Yeah, but she was very silent about it.
Jeez.
And like my nickname was like stupid bitch growing up. Yeah, that was my nickname. And
At home?
it's hard because in the Philippines, like whatever happens in your neighbor's like house, you have to mind your own business. Like it's none of your business. So it's hard when I tell people like what's going on in the house and nobody seems to give like give a shit
So
in
you
school.
tried asking for help from people.
Yeah, in
but
school. And then I realized like nobody gives a shit. Like I went to school one time with a swollen hand on my right hand and it was like bleeding. And I tried to like stop the bleeding before I got to school, but it was really bad. And my teacher was asking me, why am I so like slow at writing that day? Because
like,
and I
hello?
told her, yeah, my hands are swollen and I can't write with my right hand. So I had to write with my left hand. And she was just like, oh, okay, just hurry the fuck up. And I'm like, okay, like nobody gives a shit.
No questions asked.
So yeah.
So the culture there is very much mind your business.
Yeah.
Don't get involved in other people's stuff.
Yeah.
Whoa. So did you have like siblings on the growing up there?
Yeah.
Were they also getting the same treatment?
No, my two sisters, they're treated way differently.
You have two sisters.
Yeah, older sisters. I'm the youngest, and I also have an older brother, which he's here right now. You guys met him.
Was he or well, we won't involve him. Your two older sisters were like not treated the same way?
Yeah, they had like a special treatment. They didn't really had to clean poop like that. All they did was really like maybe clean up inside the house, but they never actually cleaned outside that much.
Why is that? Why do you think they targeted you? Does that fuck with your head?
I don't know. I always thought maybe because me and my brother were like the younger siblings, so we were
Your
doing
brother
like
got
the dirty work too, you know?
Your brother got the treatment too?
Yeah. That's why we're like super close.
It's like Cinderella, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what my brother was talking.
And you're literally like Cinderella.
Yeah. It's pretty tough.
So it was like that the whole time growing up in the Philippines. Did you resent your siblings who were like treated well?
I always thought it wasn't fair, but I mean, I couldn't really do anything about it. They were also like bullying me and
Bro, what the hell?
yeah.
Golly.
They always got
That
like
is
the
rough.
nice things and I would get like the handover, like here's my old bag or like yeah, and that's also why I got bullied in school because I would go to school with like holes in my shoes and like
People make fun of you
Yeah.
because you're getting treated like shit at home.
yeah.
What a
And,
world.
one time I got so embarrassed because my stepdad decided that my brother and I shouldn't be showering before we go to school. We should shower at night. So cleaning up like poop
Oh.
and shit like that, of course I'm gonna like smell, but I ask him like, can we shower in the morning instead? And he's like, no, you don't have time for that. Yeah. Do your work, eat breakfast, go to school.
What's wrong with him? You ever think about that? Like, what is wrong with him? It sounds like he's a deeply disturbed person.
He recently said that he was diagnosed with PTSD because he was in the army
Okay.
for like 20 years. And that was his excuse. But I felt like, I don't know. I felt like, I mean, I have PTSD and I don't go around and hurt people, you know, or take advantage of like people. So.
Is there some part of you now that you've become successful where you're like, fuck these people, bro? Like they were treating me like shit. Now I bet they fucking wish that they were good to me. There's got to be like a little taste of like, fuck them.
Yeah, so they've been like reaching out to me and like, oh, we should hang soon or meet. And it's funny because they think that when I go and meet them, they think I'll change my mind and be like, oh yeah, like
all good.
Yeah,
nice
all
to see you.
Yeah, it's very hard for them to accept what happened in the past. Like they can't accept it.
You think in their minds they are like, oh, wasn't that bad?
Yeah, and the way they apologize to me is like, I'm sorry that you feel that way.
Oh, the
worst one.
It was that made me feel so angry, and I'm like, why would you say something like that? Like, yeah.
So why would they? I'm just confused. Like they adopted you. It's almost like they adopted you just to like have a little servant. Did you ever feel like that? It's like we got this person to work the farm and do the bare minimum.
Yeah, the abuse didn't start when they adopted me. Like it was good for like up until I was 6.
Oh.
Yeah, and when I was 7, that's when it started. When like we got all the animals in the farm, basically. But before that, my life was normal. Like I was still like given like a good treatment. Like we would go to the mall and spend time like a family. But I don't know, everything started changing once we started getting like farm animals, once we started planting trees. I don't know, but that
you ever
was
think about why? Like, why would all of a sudden?
I felt like he
what
was
is that?
just waiting for that moment to like buy a big like land, build like a house and have a farm. And I feel like he was just waiting for that moment to like be that person.
Did he do any work on the farm?
He sits in his room like 6 days a week. But yeah, like he would only come out of his room for like an hour in the weekend.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
God.
So deeply withdrawn.
And yeah, if he went out, it means he's checking like me and my brother's work. So we would be responsible for like cutting the grass by hand.
By hand?
Yeah, by hand.
Oh, that's just
And sometimes
Yeah.
the grass would be like taller than me because back then I was like 7.
yeah.
And I don't know, I was always scared of snakes, but yeah, me and my brother would just cut the grass like
Just with like
a
shears?
sickle.
Oh, a sickle.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Not many
Yeah.
people here have sickle experience. That is kind of
Yeah, I
badass.
used to play with it too and machetes.
Whoa. What is your dad doing in his room all day? Do you
He's stuck with his computer. I don't really know what he does in the computer a lot, but yeah.
just on the computer all day?
Yeah. And
The
an
hell?
AC. It'd be super hot in the Philippines. Like it would be like 95 degrees outside.
So he's hoarding the AC?
And- yeah.
Mother.
It's his room was the only place in the house that had AC.
Oh my God.
There was
Is
like
it?
7 rooms, and that was the only room that had AC.
Is it a very misogynistic culture as back then growing up, or was it just he was a dick?
I don't know. I still don't know why he acted that way, but I felt like he just put his anger out to like me and my brother, and
So so it sounds like just a horrible, I mean, that sounds really horrible. And then so you're spending your time year after year with this family. And then at 14, what happens? How do you escape that situation?
yeah. So my stepdad had to get bypass surgery, and there was nobody in the Philippines that was willing to do it, and so he had to fly over to Texas to get it done. And after that, when he got the bypass surgery, the doctor told him that he can't go back to the Philippines because it'll be bad for him. He'll have like health problems, and there wouldn't be doctors to take care of him when complications happen. And during that time when he was gone, I was like so fucking happy.
Wow.
Yeah, like
How long was he gone
it
for?
was months, like 3 months.
And so when he's gone, were you still picking up dog shit, or were you like, fuck
Yeah,
the
I mean, I
earth?
was still responsible.
There you go.
But I,
You could shower in the morning.
yeah,
Tell me about the experience of him being gone.
it was fun. I get to watch TV. I get to sit in the couch because I wasn't allowed to sit in the couch. Yeah. So me and my brother would be watching movies, and we would be sitting on the floor.
Oh, you were not allowed to even sit on the couch,
Yeah.
even if there was space on the couch.
Yeah, the couch would be empty, and
And your siblings were allowed to sit on the couch.
yeah, they could
That
do
is
whatever the fuck they
so
want. But
So weird.
yeah,
So it's just you and your brother
Weird,
were
man.
like,
That is second class.
second
Yeah.
class in the house.
yeah. And so I was happy because I get to like watch TV, and
Felt like a normal human being.
yeah, and I couldn't even in the house. There was this rule where you can't speak our native language, so we were only allowed to speak English, so that my stepdad would understand every single thing we're talking about.
Wait, your stepdad doesn't speak the native language?
No, he's white.
Oh, he's American.
Yeah, he's American.
I didn't understand that detail.
Yeah,
So your stepdad is an American living in the Philippines.
yeah. He decided to retire in the Philippines.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And the wife, the mom.
I think they met in Saudi Arabia when he was stationed there.
Oh,
So your stepmom is
Filipino.
Filipino. Oh, so they met when he was serving, and then he moved to the Philippines
Yeah.
to be with her. They don't have any biological children?
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a really every time I tell this
Sorry,
movie,
but it's
me and
just wild.
me and my brother were talking about it, but like this is like a fucking book. Like we could
It
literally
is unbelievable. You are literally Cinderella.
yeah.
Dude, it's crazy the parallels to Cinderella. They have the older siblings who get all the good treatment. And then you have the younger sibling who sits in the basement, has to clean, gets all the shitty clothes. It's literally Cinderella. And then you leave the fucking coop. You get the glass slippers and all that shit.
I know, it's crazy.
What the hell?
Yeah.
So your dad or your stepdad, who's American, he's gravely ill. He goes back to America for surgery. And the doctor's like, you can't go back? And so he stays there? Is he still here?
Oh, yeah.
So what's going on back in the Philippines?
My 2 sisters just live there now.
And your stepmom?
She's
So he just abandoned his family? Is it like that?
No, it's not abandoned. Like they still like take care, like send money over there to have the house taken care of. And
Wait, who
stuff
sends
like that.
money?
My step parents.
Oh, so okay, your step parents are here.
Yeah, because my 2 sisters are living in the Philippines.
Got it.
And
what is their relationship like? Your step parents?
What's their like?
Yeah, do they love each other, or are they?
I think they do. They do love each other. Like they rarely fought.
Are they like psychos? I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful.
Yeah,
I don't know what to say, but like, how would you
know.
describe them?
I don't know. They seemed close when I was growing up and I was going through like abuse. They seemed really close. But
do you think they bonded over like treating you guys like shit?
I don't think so. I feel like she was just scared to speak up because she didn't work or anything. So he made all the money, you know, and I mean he was retired. So
what does he do
had,
for
like,
a living,
retirement
or what was
payment
his
and
work?
stuff like that. No, he was getting retirement.
Oh, he was like a ex-serviceman on a pension. Got it.
Yeah, he served like 20 years, so he did like the full years. And
okay, so interesting. So they moved back to the States. You're 14. You're like, this is amazing. I feel like a normal human being. So what happens next?
He said that he has to take the family to the States.
Oh, so he brought you and your brother, just you two.
Yeah, because my 2 older sisters were too old too.
What do you mean he has to?
Because he's gonna be alone if he doesn't, and he's responsible for us still. Like
Okay, so legally, because he adopted you guys and you're too young, he has to bring you guys.
yeah. And my older sisters, you have to be 18, I think, at the time to be sent to the States, like to immigrate. So my sisters were too old for that.
Wow. So you and your brother come over, and then you're living with your step-parents again. And where are you guys living?
First we went to San Francisco, lived with my aunt. And
But you didn't even live with them.
What?
You did not live with your step-parents?
Oh, we were living with them.
At your aunt's house?
Yeah.
Got it.
And I liked it because he couldn't touch me or my brother because my aunt was there. And
It wasn't the same situation.
yeah.
People in America, the culture is different. They care about,
Yeah.
or they don't mind getting involved if they see a child being abused.
Yeah. But like my aunt would notice that we were like robots. Like we would literally sit like this and not talk. It was only like, yes, sir, yes.
Wow,
or like
so
no,
strict.
or yeah. So we were always scared around him, and I would always flinch whenever he's
And
around.
this is your dad's sister, your mom, or your dad's sister.
It's like I call her aunt, but it's in the Philippines. If your mom is cousins with like, yeah, it's like a cousin.
Okay,
like,
so your dad's cousin.
no, my mom. Like,
Oh, your mom?
yeah,
Because your
Mom's
mom is
side.
Filipino, but she has a relative in San Francisco?
yeah,
Oh,
she's also
interesting.
Filipino.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah.
So did your aunt at any point ever be like hit up your dad? Like, what is going on here?
No. Well, she's Filipino, so they're like,
Oh, so it wasn't the American, like,
yeah, it wasn't the American way.
but did she ever
of
talk
doing
to you guys? Like, what's going on?
No. Yeah, she just kind of like,
Did any adult ever intervene and ask, like, are you guys okay? What's going on here?
No, not really.
Wow.
When I was living in Texas, the neighbors would like hear like my stepdad yelling at me and stuff like that, and they would just hear that almost every day. And I would be taking out the trash, and the lady would just be like, "Just let me know when you need, when you need someone to talk to."
They were worried about you.
Yeah, they were worried. So yeah, that was like, I think that was the first time I felt.
How did that feel to be acknowledged by someone, even in that small way?
I was very like emotional about it because I'm like, wow, someone actually cared here.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's crazy.
And did you ever like go to her, or was it just the acknowledgement?
I was scared to like reach out to people. Yeah. I still had that mindset like, I'm scared he might like, I don't know, do something.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of typical in an abusive relationship, right?
Yeah, and you just basically just learn to deal with it until you get the opportunity to leave. And yeah, I was just waiting.
So you were in San Francisco. You moved there. So when did so
San Francisco for a few months. It was like 2 months, and then I went to Fresno, and that's where I went to high school. Yeah, and that's where I graduated too.
So you spent your whole high school years in Fresno?
It was like a year.
Oh, just a year?
Yeah.
And how was that?
It was good.
It was good?
It was good. I mean, I was a loner. I had one friend. And so I graduated when I was 16. And I was like 15 at the time when I was going to like my senior year. And so people would always ask me like, are you in this class? Like you look really like, are you sure you're not a sophomore or freshman? And I'm like, no, this is my class. Like I'm a senior. And yeah.
Because you look younger.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, I liked it because it was a way, like school. I always liked school because it was a way of me not being at home.
Yeah.
And it was like an escape.
Was there a culture shock?
Yeah, definitely a culture shock.
Well, because you described the home life in the Philippines where you're not allowed to sit on the couch. You're not allowed to watch movies. I'm sure you didn't do a lot of things. You probably didn't go like what's some notable things that you could do in the United States that you weren't allowed to do or didn't have access to in the Philippines?
I mean, even in the States, I wasn't allowed to like hang out or go out or anything like that. But I mean, he changed a few rules like, oh yeah, you can sit on the couch now. Like,
wow, what a generous, what a generous.
But I was basically not allowed to go hang out with friends after school or anything like that. I never went to the mall.
You go to a movie theater? You go to like out to eat?
Yeah, with my brother when we were out looking for like jobs or something. That was me and his time to go hang out.
You never went to like a roller skate or an arcade or out with friends?
No, that never. Like I never had a childhood, basically.
Damn, that is just.
Yeah, and that's why like my managers like Ariane and Daddy, they're like, wow, there's so many things you haven't done, and yeah, they're just like taking me to like these places and experiencing new things
for the first time.
Well, when you came over to eat, a month ago, I don't remember, but you had never had Italian food.
Yeah, I mean, I never had real Italian food.
Okay, real.
Yeah.
Well, you said you'd had pizza. You were asking if pizza's Italian food.
Yeah,
I was like, well, yeah, technically it is.
Yeah.
How was it?
It was really good. We had to get him again for another.
Oh, you used him again?
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
Yeah, that guy's awesome. Okay, listen.